episode of Embodying Greatness. Today I got a special guest here with me, and I have to say that I am very, very glad to have him here because we actually have several things in common. We both have a love for filmmaking. We do love performing arts, and we also share a profound love and devotion for spirituality. So let me introduce him to you. Over the past 25 years, he has met, experienced, and learned from a range of spiritual traditions and various teachers from around the world, including India, Nepal, Ireland, England, Turkey, Syria, Lebanon, and also Australia. He has truly visited quite a lot of this planet. At the heart of all mystical traditions, what he has found is that there is something very special, so genuinely known as spiritual truth, which we only can feel and experience by ourselves. So my guest has more than 10 years of experience now teaching, coaching, and companioning people on their personal spiritual journey and helping them to foster and develop their own connection and experience of the divine and what this means to them. Let me introduce you Stefan Markworth. He is also available for psychic readings, energy healings, and past life regressions. Stefan is also offering one-on-one intuitive coaching sessions and online classes and courses, and you can find all his offers in his website, which is shared below this video. And without any further ado, let's immerse ourselves into today's episode with Stefan. Enjoy it.
Here we are. We are ready for another episode of Embody Greatness. And I am so happy to have you here today, Stefan. I want to start immediately with getting you know a little bit better because I was very fascinated by you visiting a lot of countries through the world. So you've been like in Nepal, Ireland, Lebanon, Syria, Australia. My goodness, so many places. So did you go there to live there? Or was it just maybe a short kind of vacation to study and meet teachers? You know, what is it that brought you there? And how long for did you stay there?
Yeah, a lot of those places overseas I did stay and live in. Some of the other countries I just visited temporarily. I visited Thailand for a few weeks. But when I was in India, I was there for about 9 months, mostly up the northwest. And that was an opportunity for me to learn about Tibetan Buddhism and spend some time with Tibetan refugees that were living up around Dharamsala in northwest India. And that was this was in my early 20s. And that was one of my first openings, if you like, to understanding meditation and ideas around spirituality and spiritual philosophy. Then I went to, I also visited Pakistan and Nepal, but that was quite briefly. And then I was in England, and I was working mostly in England. But then I went traveling again to Turkey, and I was there for a few months. And then I was in Syria for maybe 4 months. And in Syria, I stayed at a monastery in the desert. And that was quite a wonderful experience because this was with Christian monks and nuns, that it sort of opened my mind to what Christianity could be in its more lived experience. Because while I was there, I had a video camera and I was interviewing the monks and nuns actually about their spiritual experiences. And so that was quite illuminating for me to find out what their genuine spiritual experiences were like.
And what was the start of this all? Was it a kind of spark of illumination, something like a call that said to you, Stefan, go there? Or was it because you were maybe suffering or you were in pain and you were
Yeah.
looking for, relief? So what was it that brought you around
Mm.
all these places?
I think in my early 20s, I was quite rational, quite skeptical, and very ambitious. And I was doing a lot of art making and exhibiting. And I suppose I also was quite arrogant at the time. And for a exhibition, I thought, oh, I'll go and see a clairvoyant. I'll go and see a psychic because I can ask them what will my exhibition be like, and then I can put the recording of their reading in the exhibition. And I thought it was this smart idea, this concept. But when I actually went and saw the clairvoyant, I was quite surprised how accurate their reading was. And that was a shift for me. That was like an opening for me to go, oh, there's something going on here. And it was also a spark for me to discover, well, how is it possible for me to develop my psychic abilities? Is it possible for anyone to develop their psychic abilities? And then not long after that, I went traveling. And I think I was more open when I was traveling to discover spirituality. When I was in India, I by chance was sort of guided to this very spiritual place, Rawalsa Lake. It's very significant to Sikhs, um, even Muslims, and Tibetan Buddhists, this beautiful lake. And I had this amazing heart-opening experience at the lake. I think it was my first time I really connected to my heart center. And I thought it was because I was in love with this beautiful Canadian woman. But really, I think she was a catalyst. So for me, that was a wonderful experience to have a connection to my heart and feel this pure love. However, then that didn't work out and I was heartbroken. I felt heartbroken, very deeply heartbroken. And then I went into Dharamsala and learned about Tibetan Buddhism. And that was like a type of medicine about non-attachment and what are we really and where is true happiness found. So that was a way of finding some healing, finding some clarity, finding some truth, if you like.
Yeah, yes, I sense as this was your kind of finding your truth, as you said that the truth is something that each one of us has to feel and to experience, by ourselves. So the truth is absolute for each one of us, and it is also different for each one of us. So this was your kind of finding your truth. And what else came to life for you? What else could you illuminate through this experience then brought you to the other steps of your evolution, of developing who you are today?
Yeah, there was an experience when I was in Dharamsala where I met a woman. She must have been in her 30s or 40s. And I was watching her when she met someone she didn't know, she was able to speak in a very wise way, but also very accurate and very helpful way, very beneficial way for the person that was listening. I thought, how is she doing this? Is she psychic? And she told me that she also does Reiki and she teaches Reiki. And I thought, oh, that's something that I could do while I was there, but I didn't quite work out. I was busy making a film project while I was there. And then a friend of mine, when I was in England, a friend of mine had been to Ireland and done a Reiki course. And so that led me to go to Ireland and do Reiki 1. And then later on, I went and did Reiki 2. And it was actually when I did the Reiki course, in the process of doing the healing, I think what happened was we were doing the healing and there was an opportunity to share afterwards. But while I was doing the healing on this woman, I could see her doing different things. I could see her in a garden. I could see what the garden looked like. I could feel how she felt. And then when I shared this afterwards in the sharing after the healing, she was saying, "Oh, that's accurate. That's actually what my garden looks like. That's what I was feeling in the garden." And so for me, it was like, oh, this is something maybe I can connect to. This is something maybe I can practice. This is maybe something I can learn and develop even more, even from that just first glimpse or that slight sort of confirmation that maybe intuition can be developed.
So you talk about when you were young and, kind of arrogant, you said. So I can sense something of a very um, terrestrial side. And then you also had the chance to touch your most spiritual side. So what is interesting to me, it's about this balancing between these dimensions, these planes, when through our evolution we have experiences, very spiritual, and then we also need to deal with day-to-day life. So which is your secret, which is your way to stay centered and balance these dimensions so that, and let's say that at the same time, you can be on both and you are present.
Yeah, that's a great question. It was interesting for me when I was in India because I was doing these meditation classes and it was like I felt like I was, for me, doing what you were saying. I went really spiritual. I went sort of right up. And I think I wanted to somehow ground it or share it in some way. And I met a man who was from England and he was doing clowning around Dharamsala. And I thought, oh, that's really beautiful. This way he was entertaining the children and making them laugh. And so I became friends with him and I thought, oh, maybe I could make some sort of documentary with him about the Tibetan refugees. And then I had the idea of making a film about him as a clown going on a spiritual journey, learning about Tibetan Buddhism and trying to face his own. He was like this clown is looking for the Holy Grail, looking for enlightenment, but missing the truth that all he needs to do was just be a clown, just be himself and just do his dharma, if you like, do his work on the earth. So in the process of doing this film, it was a way of me of grounding or putting these ideas or these philosophies that I was learning into some sort of practice, into some sort of grounded way. And then a bit later when I was in Lebanon, this was after India, this was after doing Reiki 1, this was after spending time with the monks and nuns in Syria. I went to Lebanon and I wanted to find out more about the Palestinian refugees. And so I became friends with some and spent some time in one of the Palestinian refugee camps. And then I felt moved to make a documentary about the people living in one of those Palestinian refugee camps, Borj al Barajni. So over a year, I was interviewing people and filming them about their life and what it was like living as a refugee in Lebanon. So that was a way for me to sort of ground, be creative, make something creative, but sort of ground some of the things I'd learned, spiritual ideas, but also a way of trying to help in a sort of maybe an activist way and to help educate people about other people in the world.
Yes. I'm curious, what is a mystic to you?
Oh, what is a mystic? Um, I think we're all mystics. Um, we are all mystics. It's just how much we're aware of it, how conscious we are of it. I think everyone is looking for connection. Everyone is looking for meaning. And many people are looking for that connection, that meaning, truth in different places. And for me, I think a mystic is someone who chooses to find that truth, find that meaning, and find that connection within themselves. When I say within themselves, it's by connecting, feeling, and experiencing their own soul, their own energy. And by feeling and experiencing their own soul, their own energy, they can also feel and experience the energy and presence of their higher self, and also their connection to unconditional love, their connection to oneness, their connection to God.
Do you think that each one of us, of course, by being a mystic somehow, every one of us in a different way, we can embody uh, in our daily life this mysticism that we have within. And I'm also curious to know, in your opinion, is there a different way for what you have seen for your experience of embodiment between men and women? I'm very curious and about this because for me as a woman, as you said, embodying can be painting, dancing, singing. I am very, attracted by art. And so I have seen from what you have shared that you too somehow have this aspect. So do you find that there is a difference between men and women to embody mysticism, so to bring spirituality down to earth? Or do you think that there is maybe something that we can both share that can be beneficial for both of us in a kind of neutral way?
Yeah, great. I think for myself and on my journey, one way for me of grounding the sort of spirituality or the that energy was through being creative. And even when I was younger, I think in my teens, when I was a teenager, I used to play guitar. And so when I was playing guitar, I like to improvise and just make music up. And I think that was, looking back on it, that was a type of channeling, a type of letting energy flow through me and making something, talking or communicating through the music. And really, for quite a while, my spiritual experiences were sort of would come and go. It would be unpredictable, I suppose is the best way I could say it, unpredictable. And it wasn't until I did dedicated spiritual classes, this is when I arrived back in Australia in my early 30s, and I did these spiritual classes once a week. And what that taught me for myself was the ability to um, bring my awareness and my energy to my heart center. And that was, I was able to then calm my nervous system, allow my mind to rest. And by bringing my awareness and energy to my heart center, I was then able to connect to my soul, connect to my personal spirit guide, connect to angels, connect to other beings of love and light. And that then meant I had a tool that if I chose, if I made some effort to come into my heart center, I could do it at any time, anywhere at any time. I could activate my heart center and open to genuine spiritual experiences. And for me, over many years, it's been something I've chosen to practice coming into my heart center, feeling my own energy, clearing my own energy, clearing the space around me, connecting to my spirit guide, feeling the energy and presence of my soul and my higher self, and also opening to connect to unconditional love. And how can I more and more embody that and feel that in the energy within and around me, feel that in and around my energetic bodies and my energy centers. And so that's something I've practiced regularly, and building up that capacity. And if I look back on it, um, after a year, I thought, oh, I could feel so much. And then after 2 years, oh, I can feel even more. After 3 years, it's even more. I can feel even more. And it's been like the ability to feel the energy just grows. It's like building muscles, if you like, going to the gym and building muscles.
Yeah.
So that's sort of my personal experience of connecting to energy and spirituality. And when and also my way or my path of making it more consistent. And when I say consistent, it's also like when I'm called to teach or when I'm called to do a psychic reading for a client. It doesn't matter what time or day. I need to clear my energy. I need to come into my heart center and be available for that client at that time. Or if I'm teaching a class, I need to sort myself out, clear my energy, be in my heart center, and be present on a multi-level way, a multi-dimensional way, to then be available to the students. And what I've found is that through teaching this, I've seen my students have similar experiences. Sometimes my student might arrive at the class and naturally, from their human experience, feel anxiety or feel some depression or feel some emotions. And then by just choosing to come into their heart center, clear their energy, their whole energy system shifts and they are able to feel their own love and light. They feel the love and support that is all around them and be present to that and then work with that. And I think when I'm talking about that process, I don't think that's necessarily different for men and women. So I've had my own experience as a man, but I've also taught men and I've taught women, and I've seen the same thing happen. I've seen the same process. But having said that, not being a woman, I don't know exactly what a woman would feel. I don't know exactly how a woman might embody that spiritual energy in their way and how they might use that and work with that.
I'm very glad that you mentioned the heart because I got it here. I wanted to have it here, and this is what I felt when, we arrange our meeting, our sharing. I felt that we had to talk about the heart, and yes, I sense that this is absolutely neutral for men and women. Absolutely, without any gender, any color, religion, anything, just the heart. And it's our most powerful center. And so I'm very, very glad that you mentioned it and that you brought such strong energy because in my experience, when we mention the heart, people may believe that it's something like romantic, soft, Indeed, the heart is a very strong energy because it's spiritual and it is also very terrestrial. It's what we call the unifier, between the higher and yes, the terrestrial realms. So I love this very much. And I also love that you mentioned how you have seen these benefits and these kind of experiences repeating through the people you have supported. So, how is this lifestyle of yours transforming truly your life? How have you seen your life transforming through the years with these practices that you apply every day through your life? For yourself and also for the people you have met and the people you are supporting.
Mm. I think for myself, particularly when I was younger, my early 20s, even up to my 30s, I was, to a certain degree, outward looking. I was thinking of projects I could do. And for me, it was like at that time, if I met someone, I felt like I needed to have a project that I could talk about. Oh, I'm making this or I'm doing this. And so for me, I felt looking back, there was a sense of looking for validation or looking for meaning outside of myself in things I was doing or things I was becoming or things that I was making. Um, and so in my 30s, around my mid 30s, I started uh, getting more involved in those spiritual classes and practicing. And I made a conscious choice to go inward, to look inward and do inner work. And that became my focus and my practice. And then the external projects began to change. Some of the projects became more community based. I was doing more filmmaking, which was about helping other people make films they want to make. Um, it was films which were more for community organizations. So I was sort of doing this filmmaking to help support my own practice, spiritual practice, because I wasn't teaching at that time. I wasn't having clients at that time. And then that continued for many years until I was then able to begin seeing clients. And I think for me, it was healthy. I actually was really dedicated to practicing for maybe 5 years, 6 years before I started seeing clients. And this isn't necessarily the case for everyone, but that was beneficial for me to have a very good grounding and practice before I then started working with clients, doing energy healings, doing psychic readings, past life regressions, and also teaching other people how to connect to be in their heart center, connect to their soul, and do readings for other people and do healings. Um, and I think for me, when I started actually practicing doing energetic healings and doing psychic readings, it was like, oh, this is amazing. This is um, me sharing, building upon my own personal practice, but then being available to other people to help them in a very genuine way. I almost sometimes think about, oh, in the past I used to maybe enjoy making a film and putting that out there for people to watch. But doing a reading for someone was like their own personal, um, not film in a sense, but actually their truth for them, the truth for them here and now, which they could then go and reflect upon. So I got very excited about that and very much enjoyed and very much do enjoy offering psychic readings for people. And also past lives, like past life regressions is actually, when I offer it to someone, they're actually in the past life. They're actually experiencing the past life and speaking about it. And, oh, this is what I'm seeing, and this is what I'm doing, and this is what I'm feeling. And then there's an opportunity for them to connect with their soul and their higher self to get information and guidance about why they experienced what they experienced and what the learning and growth for them as a soul and as a human. What was the learning and growth for them? So I really like doing past life regression because it's so comprehensive and so rich and valuable. But then also teaching, because for me, being able to help other people um, practice being in their being in their heart center, feeling and experiencing their own energy, their own love and light, but then also feeling and experiencing the energy and presence of their soul and their higher self. and then developing the tools to access higher guidance themselves, the ability to access healing energy for themselves, and the ability to really, in many ways, accelerate their own learning and growth, but from their soul, from their higher self. So that's something I really enjoy doing and something I really appreciate being able to do for people.
Have you found that from past lives we can get some kind of hints and help for a better present life? You think that we can somehow harvest from there, some elements to apply in this life we are living right now, improving?
Yeah. Past lives, when I've experienced past lives for myself and when I've helped other people experience past lives, it's very interesting that the past life that someone will experience relates to their current situation, relates to their current life. And there's often insights and reflections about how that past life relates to the current one and what it can illuminate about your current situation here and now. But there can also be really amazing shifts, because when someone goes into a past life, there might be trauma or there might be some attachments. And from going back to that, feeling and experiencing it, but then also releasing it, and there's a type of integration that takes place, but then also learning from their higher self what the opportunities for learning and growth are. There can be there can be this like release, this relaxation in their energy system in the present life. It's almost like a healing of the energy, a release of the energy, a relaxation of the energy in the present life, and also from the past life and into the past life. So it's sort of this back and forth healing that takes place. Resolution, if you like.
Yeah. Okay, so we are going towards the completion of this sharing, Stefan. It has been very beautiful, and I have sensed a very soft, fluid energy. So, yeah, I'm very glad for our sharing. And one last question. I would ask you to offer a golden nugget of wisdom to the people who are watching and listening. Whatever comes to you from, yes, your highest self, that you sense it's important to give voice to now.
There are a lot of changes taking place currently in our world, and some of these changes can be challenging and difficult, and it can be very easy from the human parts of self to react and get caught up in the drama, if you like. And just what I'd offer is, just if you feel that happening in any way, shape, or form, just take a moment to come back to your breath, to breathe deeply, breathe really deeply into your whole body, and choose to be aware of your heart center and the energy that's in your heart center. Bring your energy and awareness to your heart center. Just breathe into the center of your chest and simply be open to what you feel and experience. Because even by doing that, you're going to be able to connect to your own love and light, your own energy, but also the unconditional love that is all around you in spirit, in energy, that is there to support you and help you. And then, of course, from your heart center, you can also get clarity and advice and guidance if you need that to address whatever you need to address in your life and do whatever you need to do in your life. So it's also very practical and grounded.
Beautiful. I love it. So thank you very much, Stefan, for being here with us for this tour around the heart and from spirit to earth. It was very, very beautiful. So thank you so much. And we are going to complete like this sharing. Of course, your offerings are shared here below, so people can visit your website and check your offers and grab them. And yeah, I'll see you next time.
I want to thank you, Sylvia, for having me on your podcast and the ability to talk to you and speak to your audience.
Yes, this is shared. Thank you.
Oh, good.
So soft
Great.
and like soothing for the soul. I love it.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, wonderful questions. Thank you very much. And thank you for inviting me and having this opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Yes.
Okay.
Good night, I guess, because here,
Yes,
yes, you're going to sleep. And also, I thought that there it's summer, isn't it? It's almost summer.
it is.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
And here it's almost winter. And I also love this blue,
Yeah.
blue energy. Yes, I love it so much. Okay. Thank you, Stefan.
Wonderful.
Good
Thank you.
night.
Bye.
Bye bye.